Alright, hey everyone, welcome to the live post-race review for Season 3's event number 7 at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Obviously there's going to be a little bit of contact here with the walls and a few contact with other drivers because of that, so let's see what we get. For the more hard to see and difficult to understand incidents, I'll probably go over them in voice since people asked for it last week. Alright, so this one's not so clear cut as the first one, so let's go through it a little slow here. So Morgan comes into this corner here. I think it's Fernando in front of him. Fernando has a slight little wobble on exit there, and then this sets up another little wobble there, which makes him lift, which then Morgan, who's trying to get on throttle, clips him, spins Fernando. This is a pretty common incident for what we do here, so this is 2.5 for avoidable contact for Morgan. Alright, so this one looks a lot different than it actually is. So, at first glance, when you go through this, you can see Morgan compared to the car in front of him. The gap actually opens quite severe, and Morgan is way offline. So let's do something here to show it a bit better. I believe this will be Morgan trying to serve a slowdown. Now, if I go here and turn on driving line, it'll be a lot more evident. So let's walk through this now. And Morgan brakes hard online. So this is a little bit more on Morgan. He's now offline. It unsights Emmett. And you can see that Morgan was just trying to brake hard, stay offline. Could he have been to the inside, it would have made things a lot worse. So in this case, there is nothing to do here. The penalty could have been worse for if Morgan would have done more damage to Emmett. The penalty may have gone to Morgan, but in this case, no harm, no foul. They both came out of this all right. Morgan was trying to get out of the way, and there was no incident, no spin, no collateral damage. This is Morgan trying to serve a slowdown, and Emmett being unsighted by how Morgan served it. So I'm just going to make a note for it and leave it at that. All right, another case of looks like trying to serve a slowdown and sort of online, starting to get offline. There's just basically the only place you could go in this situation is where Gab was going up here. So if we walk it through with the normal trajectory of the cars, you've got Gab running a little bit wide there to give room. Now the racing line for Greg here will push him wide all the way out towards him. Greg's trying not to lift, and right there, Gabe slowed down severely. Basically, right next to line, probably had Greg's eyesight to, draw Greg towards him. So in this case, the incident's not on Greg. You can't just slow down if a car's behind you at any point and just, not expect them to avoid you. In this case, he was probably starting to run deep on the slowdown clock, so he's trying to get rid of it, and that's not a good spot to do the slowdown. So in this case, Greg did nothing wrong. This is going to be on Gab here, unfortunately. He's going to get a 2.5 for avoidable contact and failing to serve a slowdown properly as the explanation here. As you can see, the incidents were similar, the Morgan to this incident, both trying to fix a slowdown. Both weren't necessarily online. This one just had far worse ramifications. And the reason why I'm going to do a penalty for Gab in this case is the collateral damage also. It could have just been a warning, but, Greg probably got some good nose damage on this. And the other car that was coming through, which I believe was Christian, being the innocent victim here, just getting damage from that incident there. Not ideal. So let's do that as 2.5 for Gab. in this case, we have to take in the full situation of what happened here. So in Ryan's case, he comes flying in here, but everyone's slowing down for an incident that's way far ahead to him. He can see the smoke, but he probably can't see anything past that. Every other driver has a good sight line to what's happening. You got the two Mustangs on the inside slowing down severely. Logan here slows down severely. Ryan tries his best to try to slow down, but make contact. Racing incident because of everything else that's going on here. No harm, no foul. So on this one, there's a lot of hard racing going on here. You got, I believe this is Rick, Emmett, and Morgan here fighting it out, not giving each other enough room there. That's probably because they all didn't realize what was going on. Morgan probably didn't know that Rick was way over there still. And then here, it's just everyone tried to give each other enough room, but it's just net code contact right there that kind of half spins. Morgan drives Emmett into Rick and pushes Emmett wide. All hard racing, nothing to penalize here. Greg running out of fuel in front of a bunch of people. No, nothing to do here. Alright, that's all the sprint. Now let's get to the feature. Okay, on this one, the racing line is pretty helpful here. Not exactly where you should be, but the racing line is kind of more where Brandon and the Mustang here of Kevin are. So as they come through here, Adam does arc in, but there is a car width there, and then some to the curb. This incident you'll probably see a little later as well, but this tiny little bit of contact there on the Mustang spins the Mustang. Again, it's just racing. There's nothing really in that contact other than iRacing being iRacing. Generally, that kind of contact would not spin a car in reality, but in iRacing it does. So I'm not going to do anything on this one. But Kevin's going to get an unsafe rejoin, which we have as 2.5 rejoin impeding another driver. So if we go through that again here, I think Kevin knew that he had done not the smartest thing here, so he went to the pits and ended up retiring from the event. But he has the contact, he spins, and he knows, because he's an 8K driver, that if he turns left here, he's going to get a 4-second penalty. He doesn't want to turn left here and go across the grass and go out, so he decides to reverse, which then puts him in the path of everyone as he does it. So it would have been better if he would just stayed in place and not moved, because there you can see Ryan was having trouble figuring out Rick here, who had a clear side of the track, then didn't and drove into him. So here we're going to go 2.5 for unsafe rejoin for Kevin. Alright, so this one, we've got Sean here looking up the inside of, I believe that's Mark ahead, and goes fairly deep on the brakes here to try to make a move. Mark does slow quite severely through here, but this kind of unsights Sean here. Sean tries to get out of the way. Sean goes over the curb. Greg's trying to go around. You can see here, it's kind of just a racing incident. Nobody here did anything particularly wrong. Sean is close to doing technically an unsafe rejoin here, but I'm not going to penalize anything here. This is just bad luck on Greg's part to be in the wrong place. I would have rolled my car into the same gap. This is just Sean unsure of what's around him, trying to do his best to avoid contact and be away from people, and just unfortunately bouncing off that curb a little bit and catching Greg here and putting them both in the wall. We'll call this one a racing incident. There's nothing else that can really happen here. So on this one, the racing line really shows the story and really makes it clear what happened. So here Morgan and Ryan duel into the corner. Morgan on the outside, Ryan on the inside. Good battle on the way in. Around the apex, still a good battle. But here you can see the racing line. You should nicely arc out, be on the throttle, and Morgan actually comes across into Ryan here. So this contact is initiated by Morgan, which results in Ryan crashing out hard here. And this is going to be a 2.5 to Morgan. Let's see if he does redress the situation, though. If he lets him back by, then maybe I will think about something else. Let's just see if it happens on their start-finish line here, but I don't think it will. Yeah, so this is going to be 2.5 to Morgan for avoidable contact. Looks like Gray was trying to get into the pit lane here, but you still need to avoid making contact. So Gray was trying to time it to not have to lift, but unfortunately mistimed it and got both of them. So in this case, I gotta see how bad the damage was to both. But I believe Todd might be still drivable more so than Gray. So let's just see if Todd can continue. Yeah, that car is really destroyed. Crabbing bad, can't even get in the pit lane. And actually, looking at the penalty points right now, I'm going to upgrade the Kevin penalty to a 5 because the penalties for unsafe rejoin causing dangerous rejoin results in damage to another driver is a 5 point, so he gets 5 for that. Now, this is technically avoidable contact, yes, but this is also for this incident with Gray and Todd here. Technically, we have as close to an intentional wreck as we can get without it being intentional. So Gray knew he needed Todd to get through the corner so that he didn't have to lift, and he mistimed it horribly. It is pretty much on 100% on Gray to try to do this properly, and he mistimed it. I'm going to go with 5 here because it's at my discretion. For Gray, for the contact, he really should have been more aware and erred on the side of caution. The thing that makes me escalate it from 2.5 to 5 is the amount of damage that Todd ensued here. There's minor contact that results in a spin and everyone crashes. We've all seen those incidents over the season, but this was pretty much a car write-off incident. Luckily, fast repairs, but this would, anywhere else on the track, would have resulted in probably a tow or unsafe situation of Todd trying to drive it back. So it's going to be a 5 for that. So here we have a 4X, but it didn't result in any damage to Philip. It's exactly the same situation again as we just saw, but in this case Philip tried his hardest to try to avoid, or sorry, Nathan tried his hardest to avoid the contact and ended up in the pit wall, or the outside wall here, trying to avoid him. He tried to time it. Philip was still there. He realized it was going to go badly, swerved to avoid. No contact was actually made, just a phantom 4X prediction by iRacing. Because there was no contact, this is just going to be a no action, but damn close to being a 5 point, just like the last one. If there was contact made, it would have definitely destroyed Phil's car in that case. So no action, maybe a warning, but if you're watching this, it's a warning to you. Don't do it again. I'm not going to put it on paper here, but don't do that again. Please err on the side of caution in these situations. Alright, so this is the one that we saw earlier. Again, just two different other drivers. I am the car in front, so in the end, I'm not going to fully review this incident by myself. I'll have one of the other admins review it because I'm involved. But let's just walk through it. It's the same as the other incident. I already watched this after post-race to see if I was at fault here, so I'm the car on the left, Richard Wishon on the car on the right here. We go through, Richard tries to make an outside pass, and then I try to not squeeze him off to the outside of the track. But in other racing series, and I don't condone this in our series, and I don't want it to happen. That's why I'm talking about it now. Is for the front driver here to release the brakes and take this driver all the way to the white line here or further. That's a Formula One move. That's a Max Verstappen move. Don't really want to see it in this series because it leads to contact. So let's try to leave space like this going forward. Be respectful here. But as we see this, it rolls through. And this is just like the Kevin incident earlier with Adam on the outside. I leave just a car width amount of space, and because of the trajectory of Richard's car here compared to mine, and the amount of steering lock he's probably got on, which is quite severe. You can see the tire pointing that way. It snaps the car around. So I'll get the other admins to agree on this. Very similar to the other incident, so we'll watch that one as well and see if it's consistent. But the worst part about this is he does what Kevin should have done on the other incident, but gets a 4-second slowdown because of it. This is an iRacing stupid penalty that they shouldn't have in there. If they see that your car speed is 0 there, they shouldn't penalize you for this. But it is what it is. Unfortunately, he now gets a slowdown here and has to serve that on top of spinning and having the contact. So right now I'm going to leave this incident open. It's not going to get finalized in this case until the other admins review it, but it's very similar to the other incident. Alright, so let me go get the other guys here, see what they say about this other incident before we're finalized here. Okay, so the other guys agree that these two incidents here between Kevin and Adam and my incident with Richard are the same kind of incident. Both are racing incident, nothing to that could be necessarily changed. So this one, you can see Richard's coming through, puts a ton of steering lock in. Let's go into the cockpit here. Yes, there's a bug in my software. So if we slow it right down, you can see Richard puts a ton of steering lock in the contact touches there. If from his point of view, he can't see the curb. He can't really feel the curb either. You can see me arcing in, but just minor contact that causes the spin, and it's such an iRacing thing to cause the contact to cause a spin like that. So let's see if we can see a better view from here. Let's actually try to get right above the cars. So rear chase. Actually, this view might do enough. So you can see there the nose of Richard just pushes wide of the curb and comes over into the side of me. Yes, I was giving him next to no room, but just enough room to be there. And that was the amount of steering lock and the contact that resulted in the spin. I feel horrible for his outcome on this because the knock-on effects of then getting the slowdown and everything like that. But the same incident, same review. The incident before was a racing incident, and this one is too. And if you guys don't agree, I'm more than open to you guys protesting this incident, and we'll see it in the post-race penalties, protests, and everything. If you guys don't agree, we can chat it out and feel what the solution needs to be. I don't like reviewing my own incidents, so I did call in the other admins here. We all reviewed it, and we agreed the two incidents were the same. But if you guys have a different viewpoint, please share. That's it for me. Thanks, guys.